Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, and my friends, in today's video I want to talk about the legend himself, Bruce Lee. This is indeed a fighting game channel, and very few people have had such influence on fighting games like Bruce Lee has. And in this video I'm going to be talking about the most direct influence possible, as in characters that are based off of Bruce Lee. Now, in fighting games, there is certainly no shortage of the concept of a character being based off of someone else, right? Lei Wulong from Tekken is based off of Jackie Chan. Balrog from Street Fighter was based off of Mike Tyson before they got scared about lawsuits and they changed stuff up. Heck, even Raiden is based off of Vader. No, not that Raiden. No, not that Raiden. This Raiden. So with that all said, in this video I will be going over all the fighting games that are based off of Bruce Lee. Some of these are inspired by Bruce Lee, and some of these are more direct homages, just kind of getting closer to one with Bruce Lee. So let's start with perhaps the most famous Bruce Lee homage in fighting games, and that is Fei Long from Street Fighter. Everything about Fei Long is made to be Bruce Lee, from his look, his aesthetics, even his alternate costumes. Everything is designed to be Bruce Lee. Heck, even his in-game story. Fei Long is a Hong Kong movie action star. Of all the characters in this video, Fei Long is least his own man and most Bruce Lee. And considering the totally direct homage of the character, I think that's fine. He's meant to be Bruce Lee, so he's as Bruce Lee as possible. Fei Long first made his debut in Street Fighter II: The New Challengers, along with T-Hawk, Cammy, and DJ, and of those, he's probably the second most famous because, well, Cammy, right? He would go on to return in later games. He made an appearance in later revisions of Street Fighter Alpha, and also in Street Fighter 4, and maybe in the upcoming Street Fighter 6 down the road, who knows. Fei Long himself would leave a lasting legacy as well in fighting games, as his own Rekka Ken series would go on to inspire many other different fighting game characters. Do you like Rekkas in fighting games? Well, hey, thank Fei Long. Also, while we're here and we're talking about Fei Long, I don't know where I could ever put this in another video, so just so you know, in the Street Fighter animated film, Fei Long was voiced by Bryan Cranston. Going from the most famous Bruce Lee inspiration fighting game character to one of the perhaps lesser known ones, Han Fu from the Fatal Fury franchise. Han Fu is directly inspired by one aspect of Bruce Lee, and that is the nunchuck style of fighting, as that's his entire fighting style. And you take that with the usual, I guess we'll call it Bruce Lee noises, and there you have Han Fu. Now, one thing about Han Fu is there's an element of comedy to his character. Like, yeah, he can definitely lambast you with the nunchucks, but for some of his moves, if you mash too hard or hold them too long, well, that display of nunchuck mastery kind of turns back on you, and he sacks himself with it. So Han Fu not as self-serious as some of the other Bruce Lee alikes in this video. Now, let's move on to another ultra-famous example here, Liu Kang. So Liu Kang has changed over the years. He started off as nothing much more than here is our Bruce Lee character for the game, but over the years he has definitely gained his own identity. And nowadays he is very much his own guy. Now, it's not to say the Bruce Lee legacy from the character is gone, because the furthest thing from it, but Liu Kang can stand on his own 2 feet. He has his own identity, his own story, his own motivations, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he definitely started as Bruce Lee clone, but he's his own man now. That all said though, the Bruce Lee side of the character will never fully go away. A lot of his moves are still directly inspired, he still has all the crazy vocals, and even as of Mortal Kombat 11, the nunchucks are now starting to be a much bigger part of his moveset, and that is also a very distinctly Bruce Lee thing. These days, Liu Kang, he's all over the place, all sorts of time travel, he is a fire god now, but his roots will always remain with Bruce Lee. Going from a Bruce Lee clone who eventually found his own way, let's go from a Bruce Lee clone that never really went that far. Kim Dragon from World Heroes. So World Heroes is a franchise you may have never heard of, and honestly I cannot blame you for that. it was not one of the better fighting game franchises from the 90s. Not to say it didn't have its flair. In fact, the guy you're seeing on the screen right now, Rasputin, one of the cooler characters in the game. But Kim Dragon is Bruce Lee, man. And wouldn't you know it, he's also a movie action star because, why try too hard, right? Legitimately, there's not too much to say about Kim Dragon other than he exists and he is a Bruce Lee character in a fighting game, which is the point of the video, but that's about the long and short of it, to be honest with you. Shifting from a lesser Bruce Lee clone, let's go to a greater Bruce Lee clone in Jan Lee from Dead or Alive. Now, Dead or Alive, definitely a franchise famous for the ladies, but Jan Lee became a pretty big deal. He's a very popular character. Heck, he was even the cover character for Dead or Alive 3. That's no small feat. So what makes Jan Lee special compared to all the other Bruce Lees out there? If I had to give him one edge, he is certainly the loudest of all of them. Like, if I were to ever make a video of, loudest / most annoying fighting game characters, Jan Lee would be on that list and near the top. Dude does not shut up. But you know what, honestly, in the end, that's kind of part of his charm. If you've played any amount of Dead or Alive, you've made your peace with Jan Lee and his vocal mannerisms. Jan Lee fights like Bruce Lee. He certainly has the sound part down for sure, and one of the lasting legacies of the character, of all the Bruce Lee inspired flying kicks in all of fighting games, his is definitely the King Kong #1 best one, because his is unblockable. You are simply meant to get out of the way of it. And then it becomes one of those kind of fighting game moves, Is the person spamming it because they're a scrubby player, and that's all they know, or are they spamming it because they're sort of a genius and working with the unblockable property? And sometimes it's both. But Jan Lee, definitely one of the more memorable Bruce Lee inspired characters in fighting games. Now, next up on our list is Jackie Bryant from Virtua Fighter. Now, I know, obviously, he's not very Asian, right? But still, he is absolutely a disciple of Bruce Lee. Jackie is the Jeet Kune Do practitioner in Virtua Fighter, and just about everything he does is heavily inspired by Bruce Lee. And thankfully, he's not even a movie star action hero, he's actually a race car driver. So he manages to get out of the trap a lot of the other inspired by Bruce Lee characters do. In fact, as far as the story goes, he's being forced into Virtua Fighter tournaments because the Illuminati, like the actual Illuminati, is messing with his race cars. Like, actually. Like, for real. But, hey, Virtua Fighter plot is weird. Gameplay-wise, mannerism-wise, he's got everything you could want or need in a Bruce Lee-inspired character. And on top of the fact, he's also one of the louder characters in the franchise, which is definitely a bit of a prerequisite. Jackie is absolutely one of the best fighting game characters inspired by Bruce Lee. Maxi from Soul Calibur. He is another character that physically does not share much with Bruce Lee, but mannerisms-wise, fighting style-wise, absolutely. From just the general way he carries himself to obviously his heavy on the nunchucks offense, Maxi obviously absolutely is much more stylized with his crazy haircut, the Elvis haircut, and his outfit, but he's still very much got that Bruce Lee DNA in him. So Maxi, unlike many of the other characters in this video, he's not on the journey to get better and improve his martial arts. He's straight up a pirate. Pirate with a heart of gold, but pirate nevertheless. And when it comes to fighting game characters being inspired by Bruce Lee, well, he's one of them. And ending off the video, you didn't think I was going to forget one of the more famous examples, did you? So from Tekken, we have Marshall and Forrest Law. Marshall is the father, Forrest is the son. Of the two, Marshall's a little bit more of a butthead, I guess you could say, but he is definitely the one of the two that has a lot more legacy in Tekken. Both Marshall and Forrest very much wear the Bruce Lee inspiration on their sleeves. Their moves, appearance, and mannerisms are basically just straight out of the movies. And for a lot of Tekken fans, they would not have it any other way. For Martial Law, specifically plot-wise, he started kind of more serious in, you had a lot of dojo warfare, whose style is stronger kind of stuff going on, but eventually in the course of the Tekken games, he became more of a comedy character and just always worrying about paying off his debts, culminating with eventually getting deported from Japan because he was working there illegally. So silly, yeah, sure, but definitely another character inspired by Bruce Lee. And hey, there you have it. On this channel, we love all things fighting games, and I'm also just a big fan of showing people a lot of the history where a lot of characters have come from in fighters, and for this, these were a lot of characters inspired by Bruce Lee. If you would like to discuss some other fighting game characters inspired by other real-life people or fictional people, please post in the comments below, but otherwise, that is the end of this video. So thank you very much for watching, hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some fighting games.